Nozomi Makino and Sayako Hata are disgusted when a man accidentally throws his cigarette butt on them. When he refuses to apologize and gets rough, Asuka pins him down. Soon the trio became close friends, and Asuka, amazingly, found some sort of peace being with them. But one day, Yoshiaki Izuka from the JGSDF pops up and wants Asuka to come back and join a small special division he is leading, M Squad, that specializes in magic combat. However, Asuka has put her magical girl fighting days behind her. She believes if she comes back, more people around her will get killed. In school, Nozomi asks Asuka who is the man she met yesterday, but Asuka lies to her friends and says that Izuka is her dad, so Nozomi is relieved she isn't whoring herself. Asuka continues to live her happy school life. Until one day, a police security guard escorting a dangerous terrorist, Kim Kanth. Suddenly, they are attacked by a terrorist group, and they free Kim Kanth. To cover their escape, they create chaos by shooting at civilians. Sayako could have been one of them had Asuka not been in the vicinity. She quickly transforms and kills all of them except for Kim. Asuka narrates how the battle for magical girls never ended. There was no real peace for them. After defeating Disas, their battlefield changed to fighting international terrorism, civil wars, and other conflicts. Asuka returns home only to see Izuka sitting in her room. He still isn't giving up on her joining his team. Although Asuka's magic distorts her perception and keeps her identity safe, he wished she didn't make that slaughtering mess in the streets. At school, Asuka wonders if Sayako is immune to her magic because she is acting like as though she remembers her during the chaos. As Sayako is still pretty shaken up and was also questioned by the police, Nozomi changes the topic and mentions that her dad works in the police department. Unknown to her, Akinori Makino is actually in a very secretive and special unit that doesn't even officially exist. As his department has captured Kim, he is torturing him to extract any information they can get. Kim is officially declared dead to the public. Some of his terrorist members think of getting revenge, but a rogue magical girl, Abigail, has a better idea. It is sad that Sayako looks like she is going to be suffering from trauma as police sirens give her the jitters. Asuka may sound harsh calling her weak, but it is better than trying to pretend to be strong. Asuka gets a call from Izuka. She thought he was bugging her again, but he mentions a terrorist attack nearby using Disas' magic weapon and his unit is still undergoing training and won't be ready in time. Only Kurumi Mujin is available. She is Asuka's old magical partner and is currently working in the research division. She fights the Disas but fails. Thank heavens Asuka is here in time to save the day. With the help of Saku, their familiar, Asuka analyzes the weakness before cutting it down. The duo rekindled old times, and Kurumi thought it was unfair for Asuka, who begged her to join her to fight Disas, now to run away, leaving her alone. Kurumi couldn't contact Asuka since Izuka kept all her information confidential. She hopes Asuka can keep her promise of protecting her since she isn't as strong as her. It looks like now that Kurumi knows Asuka's whereabouts, she becomes a transfer student in her class. The magical girl, Mia Cyrus, barges into a drug cartel base in Mexico and kills them all. There is a tortured guy in a room who only spouts numbers and something about the Babel Brigade. Some magic barrier then crushes him into a cube. Kurumi is jealous that Asuka has other friends. She doesn't like it that Nozomi and Sayako are now their usual company. She tries to keep a civilized manner. Asuka and Kurumi goes to gym and she remembers being terribly bullied when she was young. She didn't like how weak she was and changed. That is a reason why she could still fight optimistically after that awful final battle with Disas. As for Asuka, even though she doesn't fight anymore, she still works out in fear of becoming weak. After that, Izuka brings Asuka to a maid cafe that serves as his unit's secret base. He also introduces her to his trainees, Shima and Kaidi. Asuka reminds him for the umpteenth time that she will not join. But Izuka mentions that even though the war is over, there is an increase in illegal magic trade. They cannot be considered remnants of the war because somebody big is backing them, which allows them to modify things. Also, illegal magical girls are increasing lately. As the world needs a new order, Asuka is vital for that to happen. Makino finally gets some information from Kim. Something about the Babel Brigade targeting magical girls to remake the world, hence some new terrible war is about to begin. Nozomi invites her friends to see a movie tomorrow, and then she gives them tickets. After the friends part, Nozomi, on her way home, is kidnapped by Abigail. Asuka still has nightmares about when Chevalier Francine, their ex-magical girl leader, died in battle and handed the leadership to her. Makino has received word that his daughter has been kidnapped. However, no ransom is made and only a note says this is for revenge. He has his subordinates interrogate Kim about his whereabouts while he goes to see his superior, Miura, for a rescue operation. However, Top Brass refuses to send reinforcements because of possible Disas magic that will only cause casualty. They can't ask for military help unless there is a magical battle. So the plan is to sacrifice and let Nozomi die, and they can use this as an excuse to calm down hard on the terrorists. Asuka learns Nozomi has been kidnapped from Izuka, and Asuka is going to rescue her. Kirumi is coming along. The most Izuka can do is request that the police cordon off the area. Meanwhile, Abigail is recording Nozomi being viciously tortured by her Russian subordinates, Pavar and Storaj. Abigail's aim is to use Nozomi as bait to lure in the magical girls, because, as her queen commanded, they are vital to developing a girl of mass destruction. Asuka and Kirumi sneak in and disable the low-level terrorists, and Kirumi uses his magical truth serum to ask the terrorist how many people are with her and where she can find Nozomi. They are shocked to see Nozomi's state once they enter the room. Abigail warns them to throw their weapons down or they'll hurt her, but Asuka will not negotiate with terrorists. In that case, Abigail cuts off Nozomi's arm. Asuka pretends to drop her weapon, enough for Kirumi to pin Abigail down before they take Nozomi to safety. Asuka will buy Kirumi time to escape with Nozomi. However, Abigail leaves the Russian twins to face Asuka while she goes after Kirumi. The M squad moves in after the area is evacuated. Makino reveals during the interrogation with Kim that the terrorists have magical mercenaries as well as an illegally created magical girl backing them. After Nozomi is rescued by medics, Kirumi faces Abigail. She gets pinned down and cornered by her Disas. Asuka uses a lot of magical power to kill off the Russian twins. Meanwhile, Gabu, the enemy fairy, reports to the queen on the situation but is intercepted by Saku. Kirumi is about to lose when the M squad moves in. Their specially created bullets take down the Disas, and although they are no match for Abigail's barrier, their intention is to hold her here until Asuka arrives. And when she does, she's going to get a taste of what cutting limbs feels like. But before that could happen, the queen protected Abigail with her magic barrier before retreating. Asuka has a feeling she has seen her somewhere before. Later, Asuka and Kirumi visit Nozomi, who is in a coma. Makino is sad that she could suffer from trauma for the rest of her life. The moment she wakes up, she starts screaming in fear. She hates magical girls so much that she passes out. Asuka feels sad, but Kirumi says there is hope. She can remove her memories for the past week with no side effects, but she must do the operation now before it sticks to her nervous system permanently. With some medical help, Kirumi successfully removes those memories. As Asuka laments that she cannot protect anybody, Kirumi disagrees because if not for her, a lot would have died. Kirumi looks up to Asuka and wants to be like her. With recent events, Asuka decides to join the M squad. When Izuka reports to his higher-up to move Nozomi and give her a new identity as the enemies know her, instead they have another idea to make Nozomi stay put. She will be bait for a trap. Nozomi is as chirpy as before but has no memories of the week before, including their pool visit. Mia and her team talk about Asuka and Kirumi returning to active duty, because the next mission conveniently brings them to Japan. Asuka and friends are studying together when Nozomi suggests visiting the Tanabata festival tonight. Kirumi sounds like a desperate girl trying to make special memories with Asuka. When they got there, Kirumi gets that jealous seeing Asuka get friendly with Sayoko. The M squad is also here to celebrate with them. Asuka meets a foreigner there who claims she is looking for a child she was separated a long time ago. But Asuka's friends meet up, and the foreigner just vanishes. Mia investigates Leonid Greenberg, the guy who died as a cube in Mexico. This mathematician has a brother, Jerome, living in Japan, and he is a retired, well-off IT owner. However, a few months ago, he also went silent, and they're here to check it out since not even the Japanese authorities know what is happening. As they barge into his penthouse, they see his body crushed like his brother in a cube. Mia finds it strange because it's like they want them to find the body. There are also strange writings on the mirror. He who laughs last, laughs best. The place is then filled with a drug mist. They are attacked by the foreigner, who is a magical mercenary named Sandino. She gets her powers from the drug. She claims she is doing this out of revenge for the U.S. bombing raid on Disas that killed her family in Colombia. Her daughter died, and humans were the ones who killed her in that war. Well-placed bombs caught Sandino off guard. Mia will not fall for her deathbed redemption and kills her since she is too wounded for interrogation. They're all just terrorists, after all, like the ones who killed her parents. As Mia's teammates theorize Babel Brigade hiring Sandino, Mia dismisses it because the motto is only known to the magical girls. Meanwhile, Asuka prays and hopes she can continue a happy life by protecting and supporting the dreams of others. Flashback 3 years ago, Asuka was in despair just before the final battle. After Francine passed the leader to her, more magical girls died, and she started to feel she couldn't do this. Until Tamara Volkov tells her to continue fighting and at least hold out for an hour more. Then they'll think of something else. M Squad holds a welcoming party for Asuka. They don't have a budget, so all the food is military rations. Expired, but it still tastes good. Asuka is formally introduced to the other M Squad members, Yoshino and Eyes. Meanwhile, Tamara receives a mission from her boss for an undercover mission in Japan. She must not fail for the sake of her older sister. Izuka comes and briefs his squad about Topology Bridge. Portals that link to other worlds, however, only 2 of them are stable. One in Copenhagen and the other in Okinawa. There are other random bridges popping up elsewhere, but they are unstable. One was reported to have appeared in Hokkaido, and intelligence revealed an illegal trade was about to take place by a Russian mafia. After all, 10 police officers at the scene were already murdered by a magical girl mercenary on their side. As they arrive, the mafia has already finished their deal, with some Disas trading a few Japanese hostages for lots of magical items. M Squad begins their operation by taking out the mafia with everyone dead. Nazani confronts Asuka. She needs to find a way out, so she randomly shoots, and Shima gets hit and injured. Asuka freezes, and the trauma of knowing a comrade is going to die flashes through her mind. Hirumi holds out from her onslaught long enough for Asuka to regain herself before cutting Nazani's arm and making her squirm and cry like a baby. M Squad leaves after the mission. A random bridge never appears in the same place again. The mafia leader is the only one who managed to escape thanks to swallowing a Disas pill that allows quick teleportation, but at the risk of liquefying his organs. But he is cornered by Tamara, and in his desperation, he stabs himself with a Disas weapon to turn into a monster. However, Tamara burns him with her flamethrower. She asks about the items in the bag, but he could only mention some New World Order and the Babel Brigade before the item explodes, killing him. Chisato's father tries to turn her into a prostitute and make money, but the establishment doesn't want to risk dealing with minors. Plus, she is an amputee. Hence, the drunk father takes it all out on his useless daughter, and is possibly going to kill her until Jis barges in and kills Chisato's father. Jis asks if she wants to be a magical girl. While Asuka and friends are having a nice field trip to Okinawa and Kirumi is torturing Nazani. Nazani pleads that she knows nothing about the Babel Brigade, but Kirumi isn't going to make it easy for her by enhancing her senses. Hirumi remembers how her classmates played a cruel prank on her and even made it look like she was dead. Even the teacher pretended not to see. She was so enraged she wanted to kill them all until Asuka told her not to waste her time with these fools and join her to be a magical girl. Izuka briefs his M Squad that a secret conference between the worlds will soon take place at this Topology Bridge in Okinawa. A major figure from the spirit realm will attend, and they will do all it takes to protect this conference. American and Japanese forces will cooperate to provide security. With Izuka representing the Japanese side, Captain Larry Ironside and Mia are from the American side. Tamara is here as a UN observer. They have lots to do since they received word that a terrorist group that uses magic items will be up to something. Jis relates his sad story as a child soldier in Somalia. Left for dead, his rescuers gave him this new robotic body as a new lease on life. Now he presents Chisato with a new mechanical leg. Jis give him a test to fight a greed-class Disas to test his ability, and she fought it with no difficulty. Chisato feels comfortable enough to explain her past. She had a nice mother but was killed in a car accident. However, the culprits were drunk minors, and the most they got was juvenile detention. They'll be out in a couple of years. Jis then shows her the delinquents she kidnapped from the facility. If she is to be a magical girl, she must kill them slowly with her own hands without transforming. Jis further narrates his past, saying that as a farmer, his village was attacked by guerrillas. He pleaded for his life, but they only let him live if he killed his family. He did that and joined them. When he was left for dead in an operation, his rescuer gave him a new breath of life, and the first thing he did was slaughter the guerrillas. Without hesitation, Chisato takes her time to kill them. It must have been worth it since she killed them until she was exhausted. As Chisato has passed the test, their plan to attack the conference will proceed as planned. Asuka is in tears when she reunites with Mia and Tamara. The next day, while final preparations are being made for the conference, Izuka takes the magical girls somewhere first. It seems this is a personal request from General Tabira, who is representing the spirit realm at this conference. The magical girls aren't fond of her because they know she is obsessed with them. Like how she almost killed Asuka with her smothering hug. She gives them a present, a newly developed item that will enhance their magical powers. Jis and Chisato begin their magical artillery attack on the base. With the damage and casualties rising, a report comes in that they are only targeting the Japanese army. They're not even touching any of the US bases. Because technically, this means the Americans can't mobilize their Marines. With the Japanese Minister of Defense authorizing the use of magical girls, they have their hands full as Disas are reported attacking civilians in a nearby town too. They know too well that this is a distraction, and Asuka is worried about her friends there. She offers to go there, but Izuka rejects her as she specializes in close-quarter combat and will be their last defense at this base. Instead, Mia offers to go there. Tabira wants to fight too, but she is also rejected and ordered to return to her world. If anything happens to her, it will be a loss for both worlds. However, they realize the topology bridge has been forcefully sealed off from some dimensional explosion. It will take 48 hours to be restored. They realize their target isn't the conference but Tabira. A couple of civilians got caught up in the battle. Tamara is using her flamethrower to wipe out large numbers of Disas. Sayako and Nozomi, who make a run for it from the Disas. One attacks them, but Nozomi is able to shove Sayako out of the way in time. She ends up injuring her leg in the process, but Sayako has no intention of leaving Nozomi there. Thanks to the sacrifice of a police officer, the two girls are able to get away for the moment. Elsewhere in Naha City, Mia saves civilians from the Disas. They don't show her much gratitude, though, as they are scared witless. Not that Mia has much time to concern herself with that, as she ends up surrounded by 3 Halloween-class Disas. The magical girls and the Japanese military will be able to hold off the Disas, but it turns out that was only to give them some hope before crushing that with absolute despair. The Disas have their own firearms, which are even capable of penetrating Mia's shield. There are many casualties. As Asuka listens to the chaos happening above ground, her trauma starts to flare up once again. As she starts falling into despair about losing even more comrades, Kurumi comforts her with a hug. Asuka is able to focus on the task at hand after hearing what Kurumi has to say to her. Back outside, as Nozomi and Sayako continue fleeing, they come across Mia. A Disas attempts to attack her from behind, but Sayako shouts a warning and prevents Mia from coming to any further harm. She is pretty heavily injured already, though. Mia decides that it would be best for Nozomi and Sayako to stay with her for a little while. The forces outside are unable to prevent the enemy from entering the base. They find themselves confronted by Chisato and Asuka, Jis, and their artificial fairy, Kilji. Jis has prepared Cenobite-class Disas to keep Asuka distracted while Chisato fights Kurumi. With those two occupied, Jis heads straight for General Tabira. Jis won't simply be able to approach General Tabira, though, as first he has to contend with Kenju, the fairy of protection. He tries to attack Jis with his blade, but he is stronger and he killed Kenju easily. With a little help from Saku and a frag grenade, Asuka got away with Cenobite-class Disas. She rushes straight for General Tabira and finds her incapacitated. Jis's target wasn't General Tabira, but rather the magical item she brought with her from the spirit world. Jis Penguin Familiar takes the item and flees, leaving Jis to fight Asuka. Chisato also explains why she is called Whiplash, and it has nothing to do with the weapon she wields. Kurumi struggles to defend herself against Chisato's attacks, but then Chisato makes a mistake. Chisato tells Kurumi she is going to make her a punching bag, which brings all the memories of the bullying Kurumi suffered flooding back. Kurumi has no intention of ever being treated like an object again. Unfortunately for Kurumi, Chisato is very proficient when it comes to karate, and she ends up getting pinned. As Chisato starts pummeling her, Kurumi comes very close to returning to her old self. However, she gathers up her resolve and is able to break free from Chisato and stick her with a syringe. Switching over to Asuka's fight against Jis, we see Saku offering support by gunning down the smaller Disas that are present. That allows Asuka to focus on her target. Jis is an anti-magical girl weapon, so Asuka is having a very rough time fighting him. She is unable to properly block his attacks and seems to get crushed under a pile of rubble that falls. Asuka wasn't crushed, but she did lose her left arm. Asuka and Jis take a moment to talk to each other, and they actually understand each other's motives. Still, though, Asuka is determined to protect the world because there are beautiful things in it. With a little help from Saku, Asuka is able to strike at a weak point in Jis's armor. Her weapon gets stuck, though, and her foe isn't defeated yet. Izuka arrives at the scene of the battle, shooting at Jis with normal bullets. They have no effect, but that wasn't what Izuka was after. Instead, he has a new weapon for Asuka to use, the Eternal Ironworks magic blacksmith Ilmarinen's Topper. It was the weapon wielded by one of the Russian magic mercenaries that tortured Nozomi a little while back. With that, Asuka is able to bring the fight with Jis to a close. Before we get to the aftermath of the fight against Jis, we take a moment to check in on Mia, Nozomi, and Sayako. They are surrounded by Disas, and Mia is still injured. However, an ally shows up to get them out of a sticky situation. Tamara shows up, completely eliminating the Disas and making the area safe once again. With that out of the way, we can now see the aftermath of the fight against Jis. Jis is cut from his armor, and there's not a whole lot of him left. He tells Asuka that their target was never General Tabira, but the magic item she brought along with her. Hirumi arrives shortly afterwards and quickly gets to work reattaching Asuka's arm after Saku brings it over. Chisato, whom Kirumi had dragged along with her, regains consciousness and sees Jisa's true self. Jis reveals that the accident that crippled Chisato and killed her mother was set up by the Babel Brigade. Jis passed away after revealing that, leaving Chisato to fall into insanity. Chisato is taken away, and Asuka's arm is healed. Asuka and Kirumi go outside, where they are reunited with Mia and Tamara. Seeing her friends are still alive, Asuka hugs them, and so does Kirumi at Mia's insistence. Jis wasn't able to kill General Tepira when he attacked her, though she was heavily injured. As such, she has reverted to her fairy form, so she will heal quicker. Asuka also seems to be much more appreciative of her hugs in that form, too. Nozomi thanks Sayako for saving her. Mia, Tamara, Kirumi, and Asuka meet at the airport. The magical girls part ways and hope to see each other again.